Today's paper that I wanted to talk about is titled Learn, Engage, Act, Perform, Taking the Leap and Preparing for Future Employability, because this is definitely a topic that I love talking about with children and young people and families as well. So I'll cover two topics today. First, I'll talk about preparing for future employability. And by employability, I mean becoming employable and participating in the community when you grow up. And that might be through paid employment, volunteering, or meaningful occupations. And second, I'm going to talk about LEAP, which is Vision Australia's leadership and employability program, designed to build relevant skills for young people in the 14 to 18-year-old age group who have blindness and low vision. So starting with topic one, PrEP, preparing for future employability. So this slide is titled PrEP, which is an acronym, and I'm using a graphic with the letters of PrEP spelled down the screen. So I'm just getting a note that my thing is in the way. I'll move that out of the way. There we go. So I have PrEP spelled down the screen, and next to each letter is a word that letter represents. So P is for practice, R is for research, E is for experiences, and P is for patients. And I have some information under each section that I'm going to be going through. And I guess for the children and the young people who are listening in, this is for you to hear. I'd really like you to try and remember that acronym of PrEP. So some of this information is about skills that occur along a continuum. So that means starting as a beginner and becoming better at them as you practice and get older. Some of this information is probably more targeted to the teenagers and young adults, but it's relevant for everyone to hear, so you know what's coming up. All of these points are about helping you get ready to prepare for whatever role it is that you're interested in doing. And the key bit is starting now, because stuff won't just happen by magic when you want it to. You'll need to concentrate on some things, maybe more so than your friends or your siblings who don't have a vision impairment. And as we've just heard from Naz, there can be some disheartening information about employment. And yeah, it is so not where we want it to be. But I'm hopeful that that doesn't have to be your path or your future. So let's look at that list. First is P for practice. First thing off that to the top of that list is organisation and time management. So can you find things? Do you get your homework and your assignments done on time? How did you go with learning from home this term and getting all of the tasks completed across the day? Do you have systems which work for you reliably? Practice your print access skills. This is how you're accessing printed information, including all of your different technologies. It's how many different ways can you access print that are high tech and low tech? What's your speed like and your efficiency? And again, thinking of home learning, maybe take some time to reflect if your print access strategies have changed, evolved out of necessity of what we've been going through the past 18 months. Have they improved? Doesn't matter what sort of job or positions you're thinking about in the future, there is going to be an element of accessing printed information. So some more important things to practice, some of those expanded core curriculum skills, your
We might have lost
independence skills. Oh, sorry, is everything all right?
I think we're all good.
Okay, all right. Okay, sorry, my internet connection is telling me it's unstable. I understand that it's been quite challenging in the past few months, but maybe think about how comfortable you feel using, meeting new people, having conversations, using your long cane out in public. Are you catching public transport? Or if your parents had to go out and leave you at home for a couple of hours or even over a weekend, could you do everything that was necessary to keep the home going? And another thing to practice and think about is learning and practicing financial literacy. This includes managing currency and cards and understanding banking. If you secure paid employment in the future, you're going to need to have tax file numbers and bank accounts. So maybe think about what you know already in this space. The second part of my acronym is R for research, and this is finding stuff out. So first of all, knowing and understanding your vision. So if you do need to describe it to other people, then you feel confident doing so. And that's called disclosure in the employment world. I'd encourage you to research and identify who's in your personal networks, who is a possible source of information and support, who could offer you a work shadowing opportunity. Do people that you know do jobs that you're interested in? If you don't know, then it would be good to find out. Maybe do some informational interviewing and ask lots of questions and find out, because it's all just adding to your database of knowledge. Find out about your particular work personality, the values that you want to live by, and what your interests are, because they could possibly match up to a potential job. Investigate and find out about tertiary education opportunities, online and also going to campus if we have that opportunity in the near future. Finding out what supports they offer. So some young people that I work with, they like to choose a campus or a location, and then they find out what course is offered there and choose. Others decide on what sort of course they would like to do, and then they find a location or a campus where it's offered. Either strategy works. And the list of possibilities for tertiary study is getting longer, it's bigger now, given that online learning has now become such a standard operating procedure. Hybrid options are probably going to continue. But maybe you've found out when you've been learning from home that online learning is not something that you want to do for tertiary study, and that's a good thing to know as well. If you're thinking about jobs, research and find out about their availability in your community. One unexpected outcome from the pandemic and lockdowns and working from home is that we as a whole worldwide community have demonstrated that people can do some jobs on a computer wherever they are. They don't have to actually be in a workplace. So this means the range of jobs to have access to has just become a whole lot bigger. Jobs aren't necessarily confined by location anymore. There are some, of course, like essential workers. They'll continue to go to workplaces for their jobs, but for others, who knows what that might be looking like when you're ready. And make sure that you research and understand what employers expect if you want to get a job sometime. It's expensive to hire and train staff. So employers want new hires, or the new people they're employing, to come with some work behaviours and skills already. So things like a good work ethic, ability to work well with others, organisation and problem solving, and self-management skills. E is for experiences. We want you to collect them. So social experiences, rites of passage and participation in extracurricular activities. Be in amongst it so you know what others are talking about and you can join in or even lead the way. Experiences of working, so formal and informal work experiences, work shadowing and asking lots of questions. Take every chance to have as many as possible, because the research tells us that the greater number of work experiences that a young person has before they finish high school, the higher likelihood they'll get employment in those first few years after high school. A good way to do that is volunteering and getting some real life experiences of work and not just theoretical understanding. Plus, giving your time demonstrates you have discipline and can be relied upon, and employers like that. It also makes your resume stand out amongst all of the others that teenagers are submitting. And also experience taking responsibility and problem solving for yourself. And the final letter is P for patience. Prepare to be patient. Job hunting may take a while. It is very unlikely for a young person to land their dream job on their very first application and interview. It happens, but it's not the norm. And you might need some patience when you're interacting with others who don't necessarily know much about vision impairment, let alone all the things that you can do. So there'll definitely be some self-advocacy and teaching and educating to do. We'd all hope people know what's required without needing to be constantly told or reminded, but that's not always the case. So that's prep, and my diagram is back on the screen. P for practice, R for research, E for experiences, and P for patience. And I hope that was useful and maybe prompted some musings, and maybe you'll see some connections to my next topic, which is LEAP, learn, engage, act, perform. So what's LEAP? I'm going to preface this by saying I cannot hope to cover the richness of this program in detail today. So I would strongly recommend visiting the LEAP landing page on our website. It's visionaustralia.org/services/children/LEAP. And that link is also on the Save Sight Institute's website information for today's event. My personal history with LEAP: I was a service provider during the pilot with 6 young people in 2019. In 2020, we had 15 participants and I co-facilitated the group component. And in 2021, we have 30 participants and I'm doing both. I'm collaborating with one of my clients for the one-to-one component and I'm co-facilitating one of the groups. We've got 3 at the moment just because of the numbers. And I'm planning for 2022 as well. So what's LEAP? It's a specialised, tailored 10-month program running from February to November each year, and it's held outside of school hours. It's for young people aged 14 to 18 years with blindness or low vision. And it's a leadership and employability program. And the key bit there is leadership, because this program pushes participants way outside their comfort levels. It offers them opportunities their peers are unlikely to get. It takes you further and higher and provides an advantage in the employability stakes. So usually talks have key messages. I'm calling them key questions instead. So key question 1, why should I apply to LEAP? What's in it for me? Excellent question, I'm glad you asked, thank you. Here's why. If you like to be challenged in a supportive way, if you want to connect with other people from across Australia, if you want to meet mentors who will give you tailored advice on pursuing your dream job, if you want to be ready to get a job, and that means coming out with a resume, a cover letter, and the experience of an interview. Are you interested in learning to use an online learning platform? And if you want to improve your work-related technology skills, so navigating the web, using email, calendar, and Zoom, and engaging with social media, and all of those for the purposes of preparing for future work. Key question 2, what will I do if I join LEAP? Another excellent question, thank you. So many good questions today. I can't list everything, and there is a detailed monthly breakdown of activities on the LEAP landing page, but here are some of the big ones. Individual 90-minute sessions each month with your designated service provider via Zoom. So LEAP's team of service providers includes OTs, psychologists, physios, orthoptists, speech pathologists, counsellors, and O&M specialists. There are group meetings for an hour each month via Zoom. You'll be utilising LEAP Online, which is our learning management system where stuff is uploaded and downloaded and messages are shared. A highlight of LEAP is the Magic Moments Youth Leadership and Business Summit, which is a 5-day camp held at Collaroy in July. We're hopeful 2022 will go ahead. Last year and this year, the camp was held online, which was still a remarkable and valuable experience, but we love the camp itself. Another part of LEAP is you'll design and run your own fundraising project. The monetary goal is low and it's negotiable, and it's operated through our companion fundraising platform, My Vision for Vision. We've used this platform for 2 years, and so far LEAP participants have raised almost $21,000. Some of this goes towards covering the cost of the camp and the rest to the recipients of the participants' choice. We're talking about activities like lolly jar guesses and online trivia, dares and challenges, or artistic pursuits. You'll have access to 2 kinds of mentors, ongoing support from a graduate mentor, plus the opportunity to speak with a mentor who has professional experience in the career field that you're interested in. So this year, the participant that I'm working with, he has a very strong interest in audio engineering. So he was paired up with somebody who works within that industry. And he's described that conversation as the best thing ever. And it has really encouraged him to pursue this in a more committed way. And he now, with the advice that he's received from his mentor, he knows a lot more about what training he needs to do and some networking opportunities. Another part of LEAP is hearing from external experts from organisations like LinkedIn and the Melbourne Fashion Festival. And there's preparing for and participating in mock interviews with senior leadership of Vision Australia. And this is where the class of 2021 is up to at the moment. They've searched online for jobs. They've done cover letters and resumes to respond to the job ads that they've chosen. And they'll have mock interviews at the end of these school holidays. So hopefully I have your interest now. Key question 3. It's one thing hearing from you. What do others say? Absolutely, good point. So I asked some of our service providers 2 questions, and here are some of the responses. So question 1, what did you learn or do that you didn't expect during LEAP? I have 3 very busy students, yet they all found time to participate and said they found it useful. I enjoyed the individual sessions because it's here you really get to know the student. I enjoyed the way he began to understand himself, his strengths and style of communication. I'm amazed at how much change and growth takes place. It is a pleasure to be involved in this empowering program. And I learned how to help young people with a vision impairment to be able to explore their options for employment rather than putting a cap on their ability. I didn't expect to feel so proud of my participant finding a job and that he actually would consider being a drone pilot and not having him expect less for himself. The second question I asked them was, what surprised you most about participating in LEAP? They said the commitment that the students show to the program and how quickly they become a group. Their connections grow each month and enhance their sessions as they become more familiar with each other. They become very encouraging and supportive of each other. Got new insights on the students I was seeing, generated lots of good chats about all sorts of things. And another one said that I learned just as much as the participant, both in how to start the conversation of careers and employability with young people and parents, but also how to translate this into my everyday practice. More importantly than service providers, I wanted to share what some of our participants have said. So a 2019 graduate said, we've learned so much about ourselves and our self-confidence and how we behave and act and talk and communicate with others and work in a team. Another 2019 graduate, because of your different life experience, you're going to get something else out of it, something different, something new. A 2020 graduate said that the mock interview activity gave me confidence for when I have to complete my first real job interview. The mock interview was a great opportunity to get feedback in a safe and positive environment. And another 2020 graduate, we've learned so much. For starters, I've learned to write a resume. I've learned how to prepare for job interviews, what I should say in them. It's not only very informative, but it's also super cool and fun. And I also have an audio file from a participant this year, which I hope will work via Zoom.
Okay, question 1. Why did I sign up to LEAP? I signed up to LEAP because I was really keen in getting a job and earning some money, and then also learning some important life skills. Then question 2, what did you learn or do that you didn't expect? I didn't really expect to be learning stuff such as how to dress for job interviews, which I think is pretty cool. Then even things such as your elevator pitch, which is a 30-second introduction to who you are and what you're asking for if you are asking for a job or something like that. And then question 3, what surprised you most about participating? Well, I was sort of pretty surprised how many people there were because I don't really know that many blind people, and there were a lot of people, and I think that's pretty cool.
So key question 4, what do I need to find out more? Here are some key details. We've opened up applications for expressions of interest already, and they close on December 14th. But please don't wait until then because we don't want you to miss out on a spot. And once you submit an expression of interest, you'll hear from the LEAP coordinator, Claire Nolan, who will book you in for a LEAP mini session. This is a 30-minute taster, so you can work out if you like the approach and if 2022 is the best year for you to do LEAP, or if it might be better to wait, work on some skills and get the most out of it the following year. LEAP 2022 starts in February and ends with graduation in November. Again, our website is where to go. visionaustralia.org/services/children/LEAP. And here you'll find the expression of interest form, the monthly program outline, which gives a breakdown of all of the activities. It gives details about the camp, fundraising, and mentors. It gives information, quite detailed information about NDIS funding information, because LEAP is funded under capacity building. And there's also some news stories and videos as well. So I'm going to finish with a further quote, but also just to say I have a screenshot on the page which shows the gallery view of our class of 2020 during their LinkedIn session. So it's the Brady Bunch gallery of pictures. And a final quote: LEAP is not a standard program. It is a 10-month commitment to attend monthly individual and group meetings, participate in thoughtful and meaningful discussion, and reflect on who they currently are as an individual and where they want to be in the future. So I'll say thank you there. If people wanted to reach out to me, my email address is natalie.kaine@visionaustralia.org, and I will stop sharing.
Fantastic.
There.
Thank you, Natalie. Very practical and applied program. Sounds great. And I have predictably had some questions flood in. I'll try to be quick because as we're always out of time. Wouldn't be SSI community info day otherwise. So here we go. Could any of the LEAP program be done during class time if a student has time with his itinerant support teacher? Maybe something useful they could do together.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, that would just need to be arranged between the service provider and the family and the vision teacher and the school. Absolutely. Yep.
Next, could you name some things, some skills, some tools you'd recommend a VI teenager learns to be prepared and equipped for the employment sector?
Okay, so there is that prep. I guess that's a big one. I think the biggest piece is awareness, and that's self-awareness, but it's also awareness of what's happening in a workplace scenario. So it might be developing some skills for finding out that information. So work, like I mentioned in there, about informational interviewing. So get comfortable with asking questions of grown-ups who are doing jobs that you're interested in. Where do you do it? What do you do? What technology do you need? What training did you need? All of the different bits, so you can start to get a bit of a picture of, is this a job that I'm interested in doing and that I want to do? And with my my level of vision, whatever that happens to be, do I have the skills and the technology to mitigate any challenges that I might have with my vision to do that job? And then if it's a job that you really like and it just seems that it just might not be possible with your level of vision, that's up to you to make that decision and that choice. I would never want to make that for a young person. To think about, well, what other jobs are similar to that one? What else could I explore? What is it about that job that I really like that I could maybe branch out and find something else that I would find equally rewarding? So I think being prepared to ask lots of questions and take in that information would be something I would recommend.
Do you have an age that is recommended for the LEAP program?
Yes, it's 14 to 18 years.
14 to 18. And I'll do the last one because I'll get in trouble otherwise. So we kind of covered this partially, but employment opportunities. How do we connect our vision impaired school leavers, especially if attending school support units for learning, to the actual employment opportunities themselves?
There's lots of responses to that one. I guess the one that pops into as a priority, because there are so many values to doing it, is working out what are some volunteering opportunities. And that's beneficial for the child or the young person to get that experience of being in a workplace. It's also mutually beneficial in helping employers understand what is possible that a young person is able to do in a workplace. And I think it's also connecting in with mentors and hearing from their stories as well. And speaking with older adolescents or young adults with a lived experience, like when hearing from Naz today, taking all of those opportunities and learning from those.
Fantastic. Well, Natalie, thank you very much. The questions are still coming in, and I'd encourage everyone, keep bringing your questions in. All of the questions for Naz, for Natalie, for all the speakers to come, even if we don't have time to get to the questions, we will forward through to the speakers after, and we'll find a way to get it back to you or to publish it out on the site or whatever ingenious methods Emma and Janet have got. So please keep them coming. Natalie, we really appreciate your time. It was a really great focused program, LEAP. And I've got some questions myself, so I'll be...
Bring them on. Thank you. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, everybody.